I haven't fucking seen you in weeks.
Right?
Where have you been? What's been going on?
Right the fuck here.
I have not left.
I have been right the fuck here. Not on vacation, not on whatever. It's been one of those fucking days where, well, okay. So anyway.
It's been.
So anyway.
Oh no. Here's Wonderwall.
That's so badass that your neighbor is playing,
I was.
Did you know, like, when you heard it? Did you is that Wonderwall, or did you you have to get close enough?
It was immediately recognizable. I was just like, oh, that's cool, man. Dude's outside playing guitar. His girlfriend, they're cute. Kind of millennial couple. And he said, as he turned old, and he was just sitting out there playing, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He's got a nice guitar. Looks like he's having fun. Walked outside, and I opened the door and went, fuck, really?
Was he singing?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was playing it and singing it well. But it was just the irony of it being that particular song.
It's hilarious.
I couldn't write that.
I mean, what if that's like all he knows?
Well, it's not all he knows, because they slipped into Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, and she sang a little bit with him. It was really cute.
It went duo on you, huh?
Yeah, they went to. He was playing and she was singing, and he kind of backed her up. It was really cute. It was just funny because I was like, oh, cool. I got something I can bro down with this dude on, right?
Yeah.
I could bro down. Like, hey, man, I saw you playing guitar the other day. I am also one of the 6-string slingers. I'm a knight of the 6-string table.
The ways of the guitar.
I too like to live dangerously. Yeah, and it was just like it was just stopped me in my tracks, because I just see all those memes. Hey there, acoustic guy, why don't you go ahead and sling us a tune there, buddy?
Anyway,
here's Wonderwall. Yeah, that have you seen? There's like these silly action figures of. Like that one fucking asshole at the party with an acoustic guitar.
Yes, and I want some money for that.
Yeah, I know. They've got a bunch of really good ones. Like there's one like me lying awake at 3 a.m. remembering something stupid I said 12 years ago. So go on your rant. What is your rant today? He said, rubbing his eyes.
We're supposed to talk about small things. There's a rundown. I don't know.
Oh, I saw it. I read it.
I don't know if we actually should. I mean, this might end up being the whole damn show.
But you also said on the rundown, it just says start talkie. So we're doing that.
We are doing that. Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. Fucking MLC.
And I'm out. Yeah, it's still a fucking mess.
I actually just tweeted that I was like, music business partners in commerce have the worst customer service of any industry.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's close to Comcast. It's close to It's Comcastic. It's close to just like... they make it as hard as possible. So I've been swimming around on Sound Exchange and Harry Fox and MLC. And then I got to MLC today because this has been a long battle for those that are just joining us.
Yeah. For those of you just joining us, it started January of 22 they started administrating all of that?
I did no, 2021, something like that.
2.5 years?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Jesus, I thought it was, oh God, I didn't know it was that long. I thought it was only 18 months.
I'll need to check that. When did the MLC? Well, and that's the thing is like it got started with the
majors got in before the
Modernization
indies.
Act.
Yeah.
With the Music Modernization Act. And no, I'm not going to say that senator who's attached to it because I don't care for him.
Senator.
But, it got started and then it didn't. Like, it got funding and starting, and then it didn't start for a while.
Is that like construction in Colorado where they get a little bit of funding, they start fixing the road, then when they run out of money, they stop for a year, and then they do it again?
Yeah, let me blow your mind. 2018 is when
Jesus,
it started.
really?
Which is why I was actually thinking it started a few years behind when I actually started with it. Wow. And I was in there early on some of the first like conference calls. I've done some interviews and I tried to push it because I'm about this.
Yeah,
about the Mechanical Licensing Collective. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is, the Mechanical Licensing Collective. And just so everyone knows what the hell it is, okay. It was established under the Music Modernization Act, which was in 2018. Yeah. This is pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID. This is pre-second divorce.
Oh, such you young summer child. In 2 years, who knows what you would go through.
Yeah. 5
but basically,
years.
It issues the blanket mechanical license to qualifying digital service providers, DSPs, Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Amazon Music, all that kind of stuff.
Deezer.
Because technically you have to have 3 rights to be a DSP. And that is the sound performance, the sound recording royalty, which you basically give up if you upload a song to a distributor that goes to the DSP. The second one is the mechanical license, which Spotify and all of them were basically illegally acting under forgiveness over permission. Mm-hmm. So, like, they didn't have that license. And publishers weren't allowed to go in and go, no, you don't have that license, take it down. They're like, well, the label says we have the license, so, we'll give you your money. Mm-hmm. But they wouldn't, and they did nothing to track it down. They kept it in a black box. And then some of that money kind of disappeared. And some of that money went into the MLC. Spotify did like a deal where they're like, we're going to take all that money and we're going to go ahead and give it to you. You figure it out. And so the MLC was supposed to figure that out. And what the MLC basically did is say, hey, songwriters, publishers, especially if you're self-released, you figure it out. And here's your XLS to do so.
And it's fucked.
And we're back to spreadsheets. And by also the third, in case people care, if you're following along, the third right is the public performance, and that is for your PRO, for your ASCAP, your BMI, and your CSAC, and your GMRs. And they do have licensing, blanket license agreements, where there's basically like sort of a pool of money. So however many plays you get, that's what goes into your PRO, pro rata, which is a big technical term for math you don't understand. and I've been in PRO since the late 1900s.
1900s, yeah.
Yes, as the chick on TikTok says. And I still can't figure out the math, and I'm fairly good at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the MLC thing, when they were finally up and running, I got in there, and Stu knows this story, but I'll just tell it. So I got in there, and I have a bunch of songs because I'm a publisher, I'm a songwriter, I'm a co-writer, and then I'm also an administrating publisher for other songwriters, and also co-publisher for some songs. So there's multiple levels to this. I'm also a publisher on BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC because I have a writer on each one of those PROs. Mm-hmm. And so I go in there and I'm like, okay, so what do I got to do? Let's play ball. Let's get in there. Where's my big money? And I knew it wasn't going to be big money because I'm old and all my music is from kind of pre-streaming. So like didn't really have a whole lot of streaming stuff. I mean, I was smart enough to release an album just when Spotify hit the U.S. I think it was 2006, 2005, something like that.
Right into Napster.
Yeah, right when nobody was paying attention at all, when they had like 7 paid subscriptions, and I was one of them, sucker. So I go in there and I was like, okay, so what do we do for bulk upload? I got a bulk upload. Let's bulk upload. And anybody that does this business, bulk upload is the dream, and we never get it. Like, I can't do it in BMI, so if I write 100 songs tomorrow, I can't bulk upload them all together. Boy, that's a tongue twister.
Bulk upload them all together.
Bulk upload. Got to be careful with that, huh?
We've been drinking.
You can do
fine.
single song stuff, but MLC did come up with a bulk upload spreadsheet.
Yep.
which is different from the Sound Exchange bulk upload spreadsheet, which is different from the HFA bulk upload spreadsheet, which is different from the All Music / TiVo Music Criterion upload spreadsheet. They're all different, and there's no good fucking rhyme or reason for it other than databases.
Yeah.
So I go in and I did a single upload and it didn't work out. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to waste my time doing just one after another because I've got hundreds of works that I need to upload. And so I did the bulk upload. Everything's cool. Comes back and then they go, oh, we changed it. So there's a new version out. So they put a new version out. And so I go and I do the new version. And then it just would not work and it got stuck. Then one of them was accepted and it got stuck in like review. You know, there's like this little area in review. And this is before the website like really was rocking.
Yeah.
It got stuck in sort of review and there's nothing you can do. You can't fix it. You can't call anybody. You can't do anything. So it just got stuck there. And I just, you know, out of sight, out of mind, I let it go. And like 3 months later, I think you and I were talking, you were getting into doing it. I was like, oh shit, I should check on mine. I know it's not, you know, it's not like I saw a check come through or deposit or anything. So I go and I check on it and it's all poof, it's all gone, all blown out, completely blown out. And there's another one, version 1.1 on this XLM. And so I called, I wrote, I called, I did that. I sent a strongly worded email. I was actually nice about it. But so she gets back to me and she's like, well, you know, have you checked? Is it in submittal? Is it in submitting right now? And I was like, no, nothing's there. And she's like, oh, well, it's probably been kicked out of there. It only stays for like 3 months. And I was like, okay, but it was under review. So why didn't I get like a message that said it's not accepted? She's like, well, I could find that out, but see, it's already deleted. So,
Jesus.
So she's like, you know, best case scenario is just do it again. Like that week, I had a conference call for something. You know, I was on like some Zoom. This is like 2020 now. And I was like on some Zoom with an MLC person talking, pushing this. I was like trying to help. And it was like for a music business conference thing. And she was like, hey, contact me afterwards. I want to help you out. So I contacted her afterwards. She sent me the old XLS. I was like, son of a... Now, there's a problem with me because my name is Michael St. James. Hi. And it's a problem voting. It's a problem doing a lot of things because it's Michael St. James.
Weren't you called that on tour once?
I was.
Not Michael St. James.
In
Michael
Alabama.
St. James? That's right.
Michael St. James.
Oh,
but
so
like
many
when
great
I go
stories.
to vote, sometimes it comes up James Michael Saint, my middle name. Sometimes it comes up Saint Michael. Sometimes
Congratulations
it comes up,
on your canonization, by the
I know.
way.
It's fantastic. Yeah. And all of them are great porn names. Sometimes it's STJAMES as one word. Sometimes it's S as a like the middle of the
initial?
of initial, and then T James, which is fucking ridiculous. Like that's ever happened. Like anybody's ever been to James. That's like T'Challa, you know, Wakanda forever.
Yep.
Wish we had video. I just did the X. But anyway, so my name is fucked up, and I get that, and it's worse in publishing when you use a period, any kind of like things like
Any
that.
kind of punctuation when you do a
Punctuations.
contraction. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything like that. Yeah.
Like if your name has a tilde, you are fucked. Like there are things like that.
Yeah, it's awful in that area. And I don't know why it's awful. Can you explain why it's awful? We'll get to that later.
It's
Finish your
just
story.
parsing. It's how databases work. Like it's hard to allow for symbols and things like that, or at least it used to be. And it's probably because the way database, I used to work on databases back in the day, and the thing is that databases now are much more agile.
Yeah.
Like there's more room in each cell or row or functions are built in. And it used to be you had to always put in those functions in each cell or row and all that. And I think that's why, because some of those like punctuation marks or whatever are actually part of programming for functions.
Understood. Yeah.
So
that makes
like
sense.
if you would put like an exclamation mark, go get equals whatever, then it would look like, oh, he's writing code here instead of a word I'm looking up. Gotcha. It was just short-sighted for a lot of people.
Yeah. Cool.
And I'm sure the guy that created it or the woman that created it was, named Sam Smith or Martha Smith. And they're like, well, why would you ever need to have a period in there? That makes no sense at all. That would
no period or comma.
So today, as I'm going through this run, and by the way, I'll tell you where this all came from. Jesus, this is a whole lot of me. But anyway, so because I want to hear about your hate about it too. But, so I got a notification on. So there's a few databases that I go into about like global sort of music publishing stuff. There are 2 songs that are claiming me as a co-writer from Korea.
Oh, congratulations.
I know. I'm very excited about it. I can't find them. I can't find what they sound like. But they have 5 writers. So I imagine they're just using one of my songs and then, just adding me to it.
Yeah.
It hasn't shown up on BMI. I didn't see it on a royalty statement, but we just got a royalty statement a week ago. So that was the last quarter, which was 3 quarters away from when it was played. So I don't know when it was. I don't know what it is. I can't find the artist. It just has the writers, but I'm the only one without, and it is like, it has my middle name, which most people don't know. And the only people that really know my middle name is BMI. And that's why I was like, oh shit, that's me. And so I was like, well, let me go in and make sure, because if it's Korean, it's very likely that it's like some sort of, boy band or something, or somebody that's blowing up something.
Goodness,
yeah. So maybe it's got some good money on it. So that's what I was in there for. And then, so as I'm going, I wanted to do a claim, and I was like, let me just do the bulk upload thing again. And that would, Stu, God damn it, that was 5 hours ago.
Oh my God, really?
And every error that I've seen before came up where it's like, oh, there's a formatting thing. Oh, don't have a publisher in there that you don't control. And I'm like, okay, remember my story about earlier. So I have SJM East, which is my main publishing thing for BMI. But I have a co-writer that's on SJM West, which is ASCAP.
Which is also you.
Which is also me. And so I was like, and they're like, well, you have to take that off there because you can only have the publisher you control. And I'm like, well, I control both of them. And they're like, well, your account just says the one. Okay, well, how do I add the other one? Well, you have to set up another account. Are you kidding me? I have to set up an MLC for every single separate publisher that I have on every single PRO, even though it all connects back to me as a co-writer or a publisher admin. The guy kind of didn't have an answer for it. And then he was like, oh, and you also need to get rid of this one row that's empty. So when you get it, it has it like pre-filled in at the top, right?
Yep.
Of like how it looks and what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I just assumed that you're supposed to blow that shit out, that you blow out their examples out. So I did that. I did all my thing. So I was like, okay, thank you very much. So I blew out that row. I blew out all my other publishing stuff. Great. No problem. I go to try to upload it again. Formatting error. Another formatting error. So I keep asking him, is it because the ST dot? What is it? And he's like, oh, this ticket's closed because I told you what to do. I was like, but I just did it and it didn't work. And so here we are 5 hours later, and I went in and did it again, right? And so when you do it again, you have to actually go, it says formatting error, click here to talk to the team about what's the matter with it. Well, when you talk to the team about what's the matter with it, with your upload, they see what you just did, but you don't upload the problem file. Like there's no place to upload the problem file. It just says, put in a comment. I was like, okay, I talked to John. This guy told me this, the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now I'm waiting because that other ticket's closed, so they're supposed to open another ticket, and so here we are. None of it worked.
About once a month, I check in on it, and I am at the point where it's because BMI, Sound Exchange, all the other shit's, it goes in pretty fucking efficiently, right?
Yeah.
It's all very efficient. I can't figure out, because once a month, since they opened it up to amateur douchebags like me, I've checked in on it and I've gone to try and upload and get it all sorted, and I end up with those formatting errors. And I know what the tech support system is going to be like, and I just can't be fucking bothered to deal with it yet. So I'm still waiting. It's one of those things where it's like I'm waiting for this to come out of beta before I fucking try it. You know?
And apparently
it's still
it is
not there. But it's still not
there. Only
there.
that, when you do that ticket thing, what happens is they send you basically an email as if it's from somebody that basically has the information from the FAQ. That's like, okay, to bulk upload, you need to use this file and this. And I was like, real? Oh my God, nothing pisses me off more. It created a ticket, and you actually just sent me a form letter. That is just a waste of your time and my time. I've already read the FAQ.
Yeah.
And I understand. I know this is probably my error.
Yeah.
Somewhere it's got to be. But I mean, I've looked at it 100 ways. And by the way, I'm only doing 100 songs. I'm only doing 100 files. And so I've got 2 or 3 more of these to do. I've got to go up to about 300 and at least. And I'm like, it's just, anyway, what sucks is like, I do this all the time and I work with XLS. I have my own database for my shit. So it's not like I'm trying to get away with something or not figure it out or be like a musician and be like, you guys do it. Like, you guys, you have to make this easier for people.
Yeah.
Like, I constantly think of my old guitarist. Like, he has trouble posting to Facebook. How the fuck could he do this?
Yeah,
like,
because
make
wasn't that
it
the
easier.
whole idea?
Yeah,
was to make it available to the average Joe, but like there's this barrier to entry in this piece right here, and all it does is piss me off because I mean I'm not dealing with I'm like okay, I'm going to start with 5 songs.
Right,
I'm going to put my 5 songs from my last EP right there and see what happens. And it always gets kicked back and said, yeah, you fucked up on your formatting. And it's like, I don't know where that would happen. It was one of the ones the first one was because I've got the EP's called Don't Die Wondering. So we've got an apostrophe in there. So I've got a contraction and I've got another song on there that's got that in there. And it was something to do with that the first time was that's not how it's registered elsewhere. There's a space there instead of the apostrophe. And just so stupid crap like that, like your ST James, like stuff. And you're just going, this shouldn't be this hard.
I know. And I like I've got a few songs co-written with you that I haven't even done on this. I have a few from your old band that are still on BMI that I'm still running. And so I'm like, I haven't even touched all those. And my other writers, I've got like 4 or 5 other writers that I'm like, I haven't even touched all theirs. And I'm like, because I thought, okay, if I'm going to fuck it up, I'll fuck it up with mine. And some of the co-writers that I already know, and they don't care. They're not doing anything, so it's fine. But like, it just, and I'll get to it. But you know what I was explaining today? Here's the thing. Like, we're musicians, and producers, and I mess with DAWs and write choruses and chord structures. Look, I'm okay with trying to figure something out. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with complication. All of this is complicated, right? Like how do you your impedance level and like what kind of plug-in and what order they should be in. There are complications everywhere in music. Yeah. Except in all of those cases, there's a finish line. Yeah. Like I'll figure out the fucking chorus. I can figure it out. I can figure out the mix. I'll figure out the output. I'll bounce it right. Like at some point, there's an end thing. And this is like running a race where they keep changing where the finish line is. No, they don't move it. They just change it to the next block. And then people just throw water on your face and go, ha ha ha, you go right. And then the second you see that tape there, you're like, oh my God, I'm so close. I'm so close. Where are you going? Why are you moving it? Oh, they're moving it again. No. Just fucking pisses me off to no end.
Totally. Absolutely. And the thing wasn't the whole goal of the MLC to make this more accessible to average musicians? Like
by average, yes, self-released.
Yeah, self-released.
Especially self-published and and it's now listen, I imagine it works great if you just sit there and you upload 10 single songs for your album that you just did.
I did 5 and it didn't work.
Oh. Like one single uploads?
No, I did the bulk because I prefer to do it at 5. I mean, I haven't tried this. Maybe I should try the single upload. But it's just the point where I go to it. I go in there and it's like I'm cooking a pork chop. Okay, if you undercook pork, it will fuck your guts up, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And so every time I go into the MLC. And I it's like I open the oven of the MLC and I look at my pork chop and it's not done yet. And I just close the oven and walk away, right? That's how I feel about this. Like, not ready. Close it back up. Because if I go in there and it's not immediately, like, I'm a smart person. I have a robust education in my life.
Can confirm.
I have a library full of many leather-bound books.
He's a reader, kids. He's a reader.
I did 3.5 years of high-level mathematics. I'm an intelligent
me
person.
Too.
Yeah, bro.
X plus Z equals what?
I found myself doing calculations on how many different possible versions of 12 notes there were in the back of those classes instead of actually solving for whatever I was supposed to be solving for. I was like,
they're on base 10, you're on base 12. And
anyway,
4-bar blues.
I'm not going to suck my own balls too hard here, but I'm a smart guy.
See?
You're a smart guy. And the fact that we're having problems figuring this out, and I don't have a dedicated staff to sit and fucking punch buttons like Warner does or whoever. They've probably got 3 guys that their whole job is just to fuck around with the MLC.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They've got interns that's their job.
I know a guy who works at
that.
Warner that has those people.
Yeah. I don't have time for that. If it doesn't work right away, and I have an entire day once a month dedicated to wrangling all of that shit.
Yeah.
Right? The first of the month, I'm opening that shit all up, and I'm checking into it, and I'm making sure it's all where it's supposed to be. All the things are right. I've got no, conflicts on things. As you know, I was dealing with one of the Ye Olde Band's songs that was being claimed by somebody in Canada that I had never heard of, and I just couldn't get a hold of them, and it was but like you don't find shit like that out unless you're checking into it. So, but once a month I go on the MLC and it says to me, "Oh yeah, we don't recognize this. Are you the responsible party for this publishing company?" It's like, "Yeah." "Are you the responsible party for this writer?" "Yeah." "Well, we don't believe you. So, kick that shit out. Get out of here." Or whatever it ends up being. It just ends up being it's ended up being messy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And if I'm a professional working musician, I don't have a staff of 3 interns to just, hey guys, keep fucking with this until you figure it out. I'm the one fucking around and finding out here.
Yeah, and it's only 6 columns that you have to fill in, but they give you, well, it goes up through you, so 20 some odd. Yeah, but it's like it's not hard for the asterisks, like what the one that has asterisks on what you need to do, and it just is mind-boggling to me. Like, and I get it, and I know I don't want to rip on them. I know they're probably doing a good job, and they're like, well, no one else has a problem but you. Okay, maybe it's just me. It might just be me.
It's apparently both of us, so
maybe it's just us. And they were like, well, maybe if you didn't spend so much time podcasting, you figure it out.
So maybe what we need to do is, go ahead and comment on this episode if you're having issues with the MLC.
Yeah.
Shoot us an email at 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com and let us know your tales of woe of the MLC. And maybe we'll make it like, didn't Harry Shearer have Tales of the TSA?
Yes.
Or something like that?
Yeah.
We could make it, like our weekly Tales of the MLC kind of discussion. So let us know your horrible tours.
I talked to a manager. She manages an artist that was with Universal, and he has a pretty deep catalog. And she was like, I found them to be very helpful when I've made a balls of things. She's Scottish, by the way.
Fantastic. I love her.
And and she's like, by the way, if you could fix something, fix music reports. I'm like, oh my God, that's a whole other thing. They hold money. They hold money like the Grinch. Like, it's hard to get the money out of them. But it's the same thing with Harry Fox, because it gets into like Rumblefish. Like, I had to sign an agreement today with Rumblefish and Harry Fox for Meta, and it's not that bad. It's just like I'm in the flow there, so it makes sense to me the way it works, and I can get the agreements done quickly. Yeah. But I don't think that they're matching catalogs correctly, because like I'll go do it. It's like I know that my shit's on Facebook because I just put it there. So like, how come I don't have any money coming? Like I can see this one there, somebody that I worked with, I put one of the songs on there that is mine. And it's got like, it's not big. It's got like 6,000 views or something, but it's enough to where it should trigger a payment. And I'm like, okay, so where, if I really cared about it, I would go to the mat and like freak out about it. But I'm,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not like we're not talking, by the way, if you're wondering like how much money this is, it's not as much money as like Sound Exchange, I would say, but it's closer to like, 6 cents per like 100 streams. MLC does on demand streams only, so the interactive services, and it's basically how you count it. It's like it's a piece. The mechanical royalty is a certain percentage of what the full royalty is, and if you say the full royalty on sound recording is 0.0045 is what I use usually. It varies, but that's what I use. Then that's what kind of equals it out, where it equals out to be like 0.0006. Yeah, 0.0006.
You got it there.
Is what you get per stream for the MLC for mechanicals.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a percentage of the percentage. So, yeah. And by the way, I know everyone listening to this is like, this is fucking boring. But this is really why. Inside. This is why it's boring. They make it boring so that you don't get your fucking money. Somebody's getting this money. Somebody's getting it. I don't care if it's $1,000, $100, 2,000, 10,000. Like, I want it. That's my money.
Yeah,
it's
and that's the
J.G.
thing
Wentworth rules, man. That's my money, and I want it now.
It's one of those things where the whole entire business has shifted to micro streams of revenue, right?
Yeah. Oh god.
Like and so you're collecting like 25, 30 different smaller streams to make your monthly nut. And again, if you can get them all, once you get them all pointed at you, it's way less maintenance on the other side, but it seems like every 5 years there's a new thing coming in to pop up and go, oh, well, we're missing this piece, so we'll have to collect it over here. And then you have to fill out another fucking XLS spreadsheet. And you're like, God damn it.
And there are people that do this. There's a company called Song Trust that you can use to administer all this and give up 15% for them to do all of it.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of songs to do it. But, again, though, that's like... It doesn't cut that much out. It cuts this part out of the process. You still have to have your music catalog in order. You still have to have your ISWC, ISRC codes, your co-writers, all that kind of stuff. You're still going to have to get all this done no matter who you are, even to get someone to help you, because then they'll be sending you emails back and forth. So how's your name spelled again? Is it registered ST James, ST dot, ST space? And like, you got to go through all of that crap.
There's no dot. We know that for sure.
No dot. I don't know. But because in the example spreadsheet, there's a dot.
Oh, God.
That's the problem. Like in the example spreadsheet, I'm telling you, there's a dot on... Where is it? I just saw it. It's on a featuring dot. John.
Yeah.
Song 2, feature dot, space John. So, I know that it allows it.
Yeah.
And I still, here's what's funny is I still haven't claimed the 2 Korean songs. Because I kind of don't want to mess up my review process and all that. I was like, if I could just get the 100 in, let's fight about the 100. I'll pick up the rest on the claims or the whatever later. And then we'll do the next 100. Like, that was the idea. I thought, I'll make this simple on myself. It'd be easier just 100 at a time. Oh, it's killing me. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm great, man. I've had a very, very busy couple of weeks. I'm about to start work on another album with a young lady that I'm excited to work with.
Making records.
Yeah, I love making records, man. It's like my favorite thing. But I'm also, I've got, I started another side business with my best friend. We're going to, do some interesting things with that. I can't tell you what it is yet, but it's quite adventurous. Ooh. And it is not in music, which is kind of exciting for me to have a part-time thing that's not in music, but still something I love. We've got 2 dogs here now. We've got the puppy, Gengar, and I have a 3rd dog today. My girlfriend's friend, Brooke, is staying with us for a couple of days, and she has her little dog, Julius, here. And he's a little Boston Terrier, I believe, and he snores like the Dickens. Like right now, he's next to me down here.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you have dog hair on your Shure microphone?
No, because it's never anywhere near it. You have cat hair all over yours?
I do, and it's because they're never anywhere near it. But
I always put this away when I'm done with it. Do you leave yours out?
No, I don't care. It's always out. I've got it.
Yeah, they're just like, when you're not there, they're on that desk rubbing their balls directly onto your microphone.
They couldn't even reach it usually. I throw it up a little bit over there, but there's just so much of it. That's how much there is. That's how much I feel. Okay. But so, yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. Crazy few weeks in the old music game there.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those, we're kind of in this, we're getting into the busy season for, all of the, it's turning into wedding season here.
Yeah,
it's already been there, but now there's a lot of travel to the mountains, and I don't know, maybe I'm just turning old, but the wedding gig season, I'm just kind of tired.
Nope, I'm out.
I mean, I much rather find ways to, like, this is why I'm loving making records. I'm in the creative process, in the flow with some people. I'm in these very collaborative production meetings as well, which has really, really been nice. With people I respect and I enjoy. And, the thought of driving and singing Here Comes the Sun for your first dance for the 12 billionth time.
Yeah.
Just is becoming less and less appealing every day. Now, don't get me wrong. I get paid very well to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm really fucking good at it. But it's losing its appeal. I'd much rather find other options at this point. I mean, I'm doing it because I still enjoy the people I work with and we still have fun, but there's a pressure that comes along with that type of gig.
Totally.
That, like it just makes it, like, you just feel the tension pouring off of everybody. Like you do the ceremony, make sure it's perfect. I've got a violin player friend of mine who, whenever we do these wedding ceremonies together, I feel absolutely terrible for her because all the pressure is on her. Like, I'm just sitting there comping, playing the parts. I can play all the parts together. But, like, they want a guitar and a violin, or they want a guitar and a flute. Katie and I do it. And all the pressure is on the melody leader.
Yeah.
Because if they, like, drop if there's an accidental, shift or something like that, I can, I can cover it up a whole hell of a lot easier than that single note line can. And so there's all this pressure on them. And they're like, the mothers are walking down the aisle to marry you, and don't fuck it up. And, like, just that pressure on music.
Yeah.
Just that pressure on it. It's just like, I'm over the pressure.
That got to me. Like, I used to do just tons of the weddings and stuff, as well as funerals. Yeah. And it's kind of the same pressure. Like, and you try to just be cool. Like, you're like, okay, well, it's going to be at 2:00 or whatever. And so I want to try to get up there early, but you can't be late. Like, there's just you just can't. And so
it's like a 13-hour day usually.
Yeah. And you want to make sure, no strings break, that everything's, the mics work, there's all that like stuff where normal gigs, you kind of have a backup plan. And if it's 15 minutes late, it doesn't really matter. But it does matter in a wedding or a funeral.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me, is the driving, the setting up, and you're setting up and you're trying to stay not sweaty and, have nice clothes and look like you're at a wedding, and then keep your voice all right and your hands okay. And, and get all that. And you're meeting the preacher and you're meeting the moms and, and then there's the wedding planner that's like, okay, 1:46. 1:46, the fucking mics go on. Do you hear me, Jerry? And just yelling at everyone like, okay, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day. And
I've had horrible luck with wedding planners, but recently we've had some good ones.
Oh, good.
That are very low stress. The last one I did, the planner had a shirt on that said, weddings should be fucking fun on the back of her shirt. And I was like, yes. But the worst one I had was a woman that was very, very high strung the entire time, and she was not from this country. She was from I think she was either Australian or New Zealand. It was somewhere with that very, very tight, nosy accent. It talks like this.
Oh no!
And she was very angry. She had to deal with musicians in any way, shape, or form. And we're on a mountain, and okay, so we're 40 minutes away from anything. If you would like us on site to be ready to go at your whim and need, you need to feed the band.
Yes, that'd be optimal.
Please feed the band up here. Otherwise, we have to drive 40 minutes to go get food and drive 40 minutes to come back. We're off site for more than 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna be. So if you would like us here, it's easier if you feed it. And that's kind of how I frame it when I'm booking things. And this, we had dealt with this with our agents. We got the food set up, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna get fed at 4:00. Your first performance is at 5. So great. So we got an hour to digest. We're not slinging chicken tendies back into our throats and then having to sing immediately while blasting ranch dressing all over everybody's faces. And so of course, the ceremony's going on and stuff, and I go find the planner. And it's 4:10, and I go, hi. First of all, she's not said a word to us. I said, hi, are you the planner for this evening? She's like, yeah, what? And I went, I'm Stu. I'm with the band this evening. She's like, I don't have time for you right now. And she walks away. And I said, well, excuse me. I was like, I'm just curious when we're doing dinner. She's like, you're not doing dinner. I said, excuse me? I said, our agent told us. So eventually, they get all the people in from the wedding. They sit down and have their dinner. She sets up essentially a cocktail round table by the grease trap and dumpster in the back and throws 4 salads up there. 3 minutes before we're supposed to start playing.
Excellent.
And, so that's how this started. So we get up on stage, and I do our first set, and I'm like, this was going to be a miserable experience. So I have to do the usual thing because I was the operations manager for this company, and so I walk up to her and I review all of the people that are in the wedding party. Okay, this point, she goes, yeah, that's right. That's what I sent you. And I said, yep, that's what you sent us. I just want to make sure that nothing's changed because we're going to announce these people. Right?
Right.
And so I hand the mic off to my friend, who's the lady singer that night, and she starts announcing people, and she gets to the end, and she's announcing the bride and groom, and I watch this woman hurdle tables. She's hurdling ground, and she walks, and she starts yelling at me and our singer, are you guys fucking stupid? You forgot blah, blah, blah. And I politely take the paper from our singer, and I said, show me on the doll where that name is.
Nice.
And she goes, and she just fucking says something shitty. I mean, this woman was swearing and cursing a storm with us all day. And at one point, screams at our lady singers trying to get people to sit down and to do some toasts or whatever. And she comes over and screams at me. She's like, "They're not fucking listening to this dumb woman, literally insulting her right in front of her. I need a man to say something." I'm ready to fucking sling. The fisticuffs will happen.
Yeah.
And so that was the last interaction I had with her. The bride's mother took her out and sent her home.
Wow.
They sent her away, and I'm like, "Hey, I've got a little snoring little dude right here. He really wants to say hi." Yeah, hi, Julius. Do you hear his snoring?
I don't. Hi, Julius. Yes, anyway, I heard that.
So yeah, he's little snuffles right now. So yeah, they sent her home. Like that was the worst experience I've ever had with a planner. And I've had a couple where they're just like, "You're ruining my event by being here," and it's like, it's not your wedding.
Yeah,
it is not your party. It's their party. And so like, I'm just kind of over all that, and I'd much rather get back to. I'm doing a show with our friends in the Blackouts here in a couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about doing. Get some dirty, shreddy rock and roll under my belt. And
she didn't save me VIP, but I'm coming.
I'm going to try and save you VIP. It's at the Oriental,
it's just
so
gonna be.
just,
Yeah, it's just. I'm going to be hanging out anyway. I don't need VIP.
We'll just call some people
it's
up
just
and we'll make that happen. Yes, give me a table, would you?
I'll be outside anyway.
Yeah,
not during the show though. Love that. I mean,
didn't we?
Hell's bells.
I'll be outside enjoying it how I want to enjoy it. We already talk about this.
We did.
No, like that's the whole point. Is like, I'm at this point now in my music career where it's gone from being like, okay, I know how to make money in music. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Now I want to find a way to shift it back to that thing I was doing when I was 25.
Yeah.
And enjoying the shows and playing the fun things and really having a hell of a time doing, playing music with my friends and people that are just these exceptional musicians we have around us.
Yeah.
And I, just take the pressure off. I'm over the pressure.
Yeah. And it's, God, so often it's the travel and the setup and the details. It's so rarely when the mic's on, and it's like, it's so rarely that
show is easy.
That 45 minutes, that 2 hours, that 3 hours, that 4, whatever that is, that part's easy. It's the get there in the back and the details and who's going to pick you up and who needs to get there and when you're getting paid and all that.
Yeah.
I just remembered something talking about weddings that I was playing like just a ton of weddings. Like I was a go-to for funerals for a while. And,
oh gosh.
Yeah, and that sucks, but that's another story. But so the same thing happens with weddings. Once you do one, a lot of times the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, the friends that are there, one of them is like, elbowing their mate going, when we get married, we want that too. And so if you're a guy just playing a guitar thing and, so what I would get, a lot of times it would be fans that would be like, hey, this is my favorite song and you wrote it. So would you, I know it's going to be really hard. I know you probably have a gig that night, but would you mind coming and playing my wedding? And they'd pay me ridiculous money. And sometimes it'd be me and Greg. Yeah. A few times I would make it to where it was like us playing the ceremony and then they would hire the band for the party. Yeah. Which is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You're double dipping right there. That's fantastic. You're all there.
Double dipping.
Plus, then, your drummer can just make fun of you the whole day. They're like, hey, you got to play the wedding. I'm going to play the party. But so there was this one time, I remember this one. I mean, I dealt with so many bad wedding planners or crazy women. I don't want to say women, but they all were women. Unfortunately, not as many of the male wedding planners as I would have liked at the ones I did. But there was one that really sticks out as you were mentioning that story. So I was supposed to play, it was like sort of a rough Vivaldi piece while everything was happening before the preacher got up and did their thing, right? And then I just sat there and I was supposed to play one song like for the ceremony, and it was a song I wrote. Yeah. And it's called Every Time You Walk Away. And it's actually a really sad song about like I was writing a song as if I was the wife of someone who's always going on tour, because I was always my hat and my coat were by the door, and so every time you walk away I only want you more, that sort of thing. And so and it's a good song actually. Yeah. But it's sad as fuck to me, but she thought it was so romantic. And I was like, have you read the lyrics? Like, okay. But so I'll play it.
Every breath you take.
Yeah, and I'm like trying to sing it, and like there's all these people sitting there going, is this the right song for a wedding? And so I got through it. Everything was fine. Yeah. She was supposed to be in the back somewhere, the bride-to-be and all that sort of thing. And this is when the guys come out. So for her march, she wanted Tesla Love Song.
Excellent
song.
Solid choice.
Played it a few times at different weddings and different circumstances. Yeah. She wanted it for the wedding march. Okay. So this is the moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is the moment where she's going to walk down the aisle. This is kind of outdoors. It's probably 200 people, 100 on each side. Nice little trellis. Preacher, you got 5 deep on the guy's side, 5 deep on the women's side. It was a traditional kind of wedding, right? So I'm starting into Love Song, and I'm playing the intro. But I knew that someone had told me, okay, well, they're going to walk out those doors and then stand there while the flower girl goes in front of them. You know, total wedding shit, right?
Yeah.
A ring bearer, flower girl, all that sort of thing. And so while the little kids walk down the aisle and everyone laughs and has fun, you'll be playing this song. So I'm playing the intro. Nobody's coming out the door. I'm playing the intro. Nobody's coming out the door. I go 3 rounds through it, dude. 3 rounds. I'm like, okay, I've got it. Maybe she thinks, you know, so you think that it's over? Or maybe she thinks that, like, when you get into the first line, I'll come out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I start the first line. Nobody's there. Nobody has come out the door. The kids aren't there. The people that are supposed to walk down the aisle, not there. The bride is not in the back. I can see that. Nobody but me and the preacher can see that. Everyone else is facing me.
Yeah.
And so I go through the first verse, which does not go to the chorus, I don't think. I think it just goes through the one verse. And I realize I need to vamp. I'm like,
oh dear.
I'm going to be done with this song and there will be no bride. I go through and I just go back. So I do one verse and I go back into the intro. I basically just start playing the verse over again without vocals.
Yeah.
She is still not there. I go through it like 4 rounds. She's still not there. And so I'm like kind of freaking out. Like, I don't know how this is going to all end. And so I'm like, and so the preacher's like, go ahead. I just hear him say, go ahead. Okay, so maybe he knows something I don't. So I go and I finish the song. And it's not a short song. I go through the whole thing. No. Do the choruses, blah, 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 and I end it, you know, and get to the, like, and I know. And that's where it was supposed to be, where she's there. I know. But it was supposed to be great.
Yeah.
Nobody's there. Nobody is there. I did the whole song, the whole wedding march.
Yeah.
And then I just look back up at the preacher and I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's as far as I can go. I mean, it may have been 8 minutes of it.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a very long time. Like, every time I did the rounds, it was at least 1 or 2 extra minutes. So, and the song's probably 5 minutes long. So,
it's a long song.
Yeah, so I finish, and he's like, and he just wings it. He's like, we all have our time in life where we decide, you know, blah, 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 blah about love, looking at the guy. And then I see the door bust open in the back. And one of the kids comes running down the aisle with the flowers and goes and whispers into the preacher's head. And she's like, okay. So the preacher goes, can you play it again? Okay.
Oh my God.
So I just turn around. Okay. So I started into it again, and of course, you know, you're a musician, right? So I'm still trying to entertain the crowd. There's still 200 people there on an afternoon. And so, like, I'm playing it and humming, trying to, like, I know, guys, you know, I don't say anything, but I got that look in my face like, hey, none of us want to be doing this, but we're going to do this. I get through the first thing. She is not there still. So I bail. I just end it. I don't sing the part. I do nothing, right? And I just sit back and I look back to the preacher. Back to you. And so he's like, well, here's the thing. She passed out backstage. She passed out back in the back room. And we think she's going to be okay. I don't know. Think she's going to be okay. But we're going to take a real quick break. Like a fucking set break in a wedding. Yeah. And I'm going to go back and check on her. I'm sure it's nothing. Everyone gets nervous. You know how it goes. And he's like pointing to people as if he's married them. And he just goes kind of he's like hopping down the aisle. Like, not a run. Don't freak out. It's no emergency. A little skip. But just, he's not walking. He's skipping a little bit. So he goes back there. And all of a sudden, all of them come out. Like all of them, the kid has already run back with the preacher. All of them come out and they're all standing there, and he comes back up and he stands in front of the stage. He's like, "Go ahead." And I was like, okay, why don't I just go into the chorus or something,
Yeah.
So I just started going into the chorus, into the Love Is All Around You part. And she starts walking, the kids start walking, and I just sort of sang it over and over and over until they got there. But they finally got there. But by the end of it, I had played it basically 3 or 4 times. And she got
I know that song well now. I can do it.
So at the end of it, so everything's fine. Her face is just fucked up. Her eyes are just, raccooned out. All of her makeup smeared. Everything's fucked up. So end of this story is afterwards, we're all talking and everything. She had been doing shots with her sister.
Yeah.
To calm down. And her sister gave her a pill. And her sister basically was this chick that was like giving her all this stuff. Yeah. And her blood pressure got like so low that she passed out. They thought they were going to call the hospital. They didn't call the hospital. She wanted to cancel the wedding. We couldn't cancel the wedding. The moms were freaking out. The kids were crying. They were screaming. They were all in the back room. All this apparently happened unbeknownst to all of us.
And you're like, they say, love will find a way.
Here's the other thing though. In true Tesla form. All right, I'm sure. Look, she will never hear this. I know she won't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't even know if she's like alive still. But anyway, her sister, who got her all fucked up in the first place, tells me at the party afterwards that she put a line of coke up her nose to get her better.
Jesus.
She comes out of being passed out and she's like, here, take this. Puts on her finger, gack her up the... Oh, my God. And she starts crying like, I don't want to be high for my wedding. And then she's crying, blah, blah, blah. But she's doable. She came back. It's like a smelling salt, basically. Kids don't do that for a smelling salt, but yes, Jesus. That is what I was told. I'm not sure if that's the truth, but she was able to get up and walk all the way down. And how rock and roll is that?
Yeah, well, that's it's funny. Like, I remember both of my weddings. I have 2 ex-wives. Drink. It's I don't. There was a friend of ours, a singer that I've been in a couple of projects with, was at my first wedding, and he and his wife at the time set 2 glasses down on our table, and it looked like wine. So like, go to tequila. No, it was tequila. Oh. He'd given me a mug of tequila. Now there was no cocaine at our wedding, as far as I'm aware.
It's a good idea.
A lot of Catholics there, But yeah, like, there's, I don't know, man. Like, there's a point where, especially with these types of parties, it's like everybody's so stressed out about everything being perfect.
Yeah, they
forget to enjoy the fact that they're marrying the love of their life. Or maybe some
air
type
quotes.
of I used air quotes there, but I'll tell you what, man. Both the women I married, I thought they were the love of my life.
They were at the time.
Fair. They were at the time.
Yeah.
And
a reason and a season.
Turn. But like, this whole idea that all of the aspects of this day have to be absolutely perfect, or our marriage or our wedding and our relationship is invalid in the eyes of God or whoever you believe in. I never want to go through it ever again.
Okay. I'm gonna give you some love here on this.
Okay.
I don't even know if you know this story. I too have an ex-wife.
I did know that.
You do know. Drink. Just wine. So, have some Jaeger. But and it was in a past life and in another life. And we decided to fly everyone to Vegas. We were rolling, and it was great. Yeah. Got married in the little white chapel. Not with Elvis. I'm a Jew. So, anyway, but so at the time, that's the bumper.
That's right.
So at the time, Sting's greatest hits album had been out for a while.
Excellent.
That's how long ago this was. Okay.
And definitely 1900s.
And she wanted When We Dance, Angels Will Run and Hide Their Wings. She wanted that song.
Yeah.
to be her wedding march. And so we had a cassette tape. Kids, a cassette tape is what people used to listen to in the late 1900s. And so we had a cassette tape, and it was all queued up for that song, When We Dance.
Mm-hmm.
And am I getting that wrong? Is that the name of the song? It should be.
I don't know.
I think it is.
If only there were a tool you could
it's
utilize.
When We Dance. Yeah, I knew I was right.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was supposed to be the song. And so we give it to the guy. There's a guy that's running the microphones and all that. Mm-hmm. My friends, my mom. There's like some people that are there. My best man and her sister and some other people. Flew them all out to Vegas for this blowout weekend. It was going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And so and it had been going great. We weren't worried at all. We were adults and we were still youngins, but we weren't like 20. And so and we were living pretty alternative lifestyle. So like this made sense. Vegas. We didn't want to do a church.
Yeah.
So we get there. Wedding gown's good. Got my tux. We had a limo down there. If you get married in Vegas, kids, just so you know, you have to go all the way downtown and sign paperwork at Clark County Courthouse. You got to do all that in the limo before you get to the place, or do it afterwards, or it's not a real wedding. Okay, anyway, so we get to the place, we get to the thing. It's gorgeous, it's great, and we get ready. And so I'm standing up there, my best man, everybody's ready to go. And here comes the bride. The bride is standing there, and I look at the guy, and I'm like, oh, great, go ahead and press play. And so he's going to press play for the big wedding march, which is this lovely Sting song. If you have a chance, go and listen to it when we dance. It's a fantastic song. And so he presses play, and here's what comes on. Free, free, set them free. Free, free, set them, whoa. If you love somebody. Yes, so he put in the tape backwards.
Yep.
But it was perfectly lined up to if you left someone, set them free, which could not be a more poison pill song for a wedding. Like if you're superstitious about shit that goes on in weddings, and it's being videotaped. It's being recorded. And so, and so it goes, and by the way, he didn't catch it right away. He's like, no, that's good. That's Sting. And because he didn't know, and we're like, no, this, and of course, the bride, she's back there waiting to come in through the door. She opens the doors, and she's like, that's not the fucking song. To which we all start laughing. It's all broken at that point. Yeah. And so then he's got to turn the tape over. He turns the tape over, and now here's what we hear. He's cueing the tape live in the fucking chapel. But of course it's Vegas, so I mean, like, of course he would. Why would he have headphones? Why would he have a mute button? Of course he would. And then it comes into When We Dance. She walks down the aisle. Everything goes well. I step on the glass. Everything's great.
Mazel tov.
Mazel. Yeah. And so, but... no surprise that marriage did not last.
The curse of Sting. Let it fall upon thee.
The curse of Sting. And I told Sting that story once. And he thought it was pretty funny. No, but so that is an actual true story. And then years later we find the videotape, and it was like, oh my god, yeah. And you play and the videotape, you can hear her go, "What? It's not that fucking song. It's not that fucking song." Because it's like that's where the mics were. Oh my god, it was so hilarious. So, like, of course, it went horribly weird and wrong. But that's weddings.
That
for
is
you.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
So that's a true story.
But like, I mean, like, what do you do? Like, are you gonna like? I did a wedding where we played a song that it wasn't on the. We had a very, very, very robust do not play list, right? So play all of the songs that I've highlighted and do not play any of the other ones. Well, we had a song that wasn't on our song list that we played, and everybody loved it. The bride hurtled at my sound guy to scream at her planner to come and yell at us that we played a song that ruined her wedding.
Dude.
Guess what that song was, by the way?
Okay, hold on. I'm hoping I'm going to get this right because I have a story about the exact same song. You ready? Let's say it on 3, 2, 1, and then say it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, Centerfold.
Power of Love.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
You want to hear my story?
Centerfold was yours? That's amazing.
A very close friend, someone we both know, at her wedding, it was in attendance at the post party.
Yeah.
There were like 2 songs that were absolutely no fucking go to the DJ. Do not, under any circumstances, play this song. One of them was Centerfold.
By Jay Giles Band.
By J. Giles Band. J. Giles Band. Yes.
Yes.
And we're all partying at this place up in the mountains or whatever. DJ's going. Everyone's kind of getting loaded. And,
as you do.
And, but it's a DJ.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was maybe the 8th song in, but everyone was having a great time. Shots were flowing, shoes were off, that sort of thing. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's the nighttime. We're going into it. And you hear, and I look over, and I know this. I know that she doesn't want that because I'm friends with her. I know that she's going to fucking freak out. And I'm like, oh no, we need to go stop her.
Yeah.
and I hear the band, and I look over there. Oh, Jesus, someone go grab her. And she beelines it to the fucking DJ booth and she's drunk and just murders the DJ. Like,
no.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. And he just goes, presses another button, any other song. But it happened. And it was the one thing she fucking asked for. The one thing.
Yeah.
She was a cool chick, and that was the thing, and it got broken. That marriage also did not last.
Man, apparently there's more power in the music than
I'm
we
saying
thought.
it's the music that ruins marriages.
Yeah.
That's okay though. The music's still around.
Yeah, and that's what we like. We like the relationship. The breakup of the relationship creates some great music, along with the cocaine that fueled the breakup
or the bride
of the relationship. Did you post the photo of Fleetwood Mac and say that said it was nice of Stevie to clear the coke off the board before taking this photo?
See how loaded she looked? Jesus,
they did.
She
none of them looked
80
like they were
pounds.
there.
I mean, Lindsay looked just as thin.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, good for, that's the way he made records then. Good for them. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But so weddings break up bands and bands break up weddings. All right.
Alrighty.
So that's that.
That's that. That's like that. Kelsey's really mad because we didn't even get close to the rundown this week. I mean, it wasn't even.
Kelsey, shut up.
She's like, really?
Seriously, you guys, there was like a question from 2ShotsMusicPod at Gmail. There was like 4 notes up here. We were going to get into, by the way, I have a whole nother sheet of what we were going to get into with that question that is like 3 pages long. I was going to just overload people. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. But it was the MLC did indeed start this rant of rage at how sometimes, even on the top of the mountain where you want to go, shit's still fucked.
It's still fucked. And by the way, I do know some people that work in like some major labels, but also some labels that have a lot of acts. Look, they run into these problems too, and it just sucks. And everyone
can staff it out.
I've said this at conferences and classes and stuff. Like, if you wanted. Like, if someone asked me to develop a music industry, create one from scratch, that is the most confusing, hard to navigate for independent people, especially for musicians who do not have a business acumen, that is shady, like you're not really sure what you're getting paid. Like, how much is that commercial where my music was played? No one will give you that answer. Like, I could tell you how much the master sync fee was, but like what the royalty, like nobody knows it until it goes through the math. And like, if I were to do that, this is what I would create. If everything we're going through right now is exactly how I would have multiple PROs, and then I would have multiple extra PROs with the sound exchange for non-interactive and digital, and then I would have MLC instead of Spotify just paying you directly mechanicals.
Yeah.
You know, and then I would have, I would just have, and then a distributor that's your other place that gets paid for the sound recording. It would be craziness. Yeah. And it would be just like it is now.
It's the Wild West, Joe.
It is. All right, let's get to Sync of the Week and wrap this up.
All right.
Because God knows what this edit's going to look like, but it's we're probably at an hour 20 hours. I was promising everybody that we were going to go a lot shorter, and
it's an hour 10.
We're not shorter yet. That's okay.
We're not shorter yet. That's okay.
We'll get there. And if we don't, fuck them. Fuck them. Who cares if they can't take a joke? Okay. So mine is from The Diplomat.
I'm so glad you watched it. I loved it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's now okay. So I know I mentioned this before, but I had just been rewatching The Americans, and I had
really great show,
which had completely missed me. I missed it. I did not see it, and so I caught it on like Hulu, and so I love Carrie Russell. Plus, she's a home girl. She did a little time in Highlands Ranch down here.
She went to my high school.
Yeah, is that true? Did you go there with her?
High school.
Are we all the same age?
No, she was right before she left. Right before I went to school there.
I was going to say, because you're a bit younger. Because I think she's.
I wish I was younger.
I think she's up near me-ish. But anyway, so that The Americans has unlocked so many things for me. All these people that were in that I was like, oh my God, I love this actor. I love that actress. So at the same time, I still had 2 episodes to go, and The Diplomat drops on Netflix. Yeah, I saw like the tweet from Michael McKean, who's playing the president, by the way.
It's fucking great.
And a great job. And I talked to a bunch of people that are like, you cannot go right into The Diplomat from The American.
Sure you can.
Like you were just seeing Carrie Russell as a Russian
spy
agent, and now she's going to be an American diplomat. And so I did. Because
it's called acting.
Rufus Sewell, love him.
He's so fucking good in that show, too.
So good.
He's very charming.
Yeah. So the show's great. You should see it. It's on Netflix. It's great. So I burned through the whole thing in like 2 days. It was great. I couldn't stop. It was fantastic. The last episode, not a whole lot of music placements in it, surprisingly enough. There are some kind of classical needle drops, some bed music happening. But in the finale, in the final episode, there's a great song, and it's in a penultimate scene where she's kind of disheveled. By the way, they try to make Carrie Russell look disheveled, which is funny.
Very hard to do.
Yeah, but like towards the end of it, she's in this dazzling red dress going to this amazing event, and she's in a limo, and she's full on Carrie Russell. And this song is going on, and it's called "These Shadows" by Wooden Ships. Now, Wooden Ships is spelled SHJIPS. Imagine the trouble they have with the MLC. Anyway, they're called the Wooden Ships, but Shijips. And they're like a psychedelic rock band.
Nice.
And I think they have labels, but no major label stuff. They are independent, so it's a great placement for them. And the song fits so perfectly. It was used in this transition, and where she's making a splash, basically. It's fantastic. Michael Hill is the music supervisor of The Diplomat, and it was a fantastic placement. But I ask you to check out These Shadows by Wooden Ships, and remember SHJIPS. They're on tour. They're playing a bunch of festies all over the place. Psychedelic rock, it can go one way or the other. But this was a really good usage for that kind of music because it was kind of surreal. And so that's mine. Go see The Diplomat on your couch.
Go see
I say go see The Diplomat. If you haven't,
put on your robe.
Yeah, it's a nice breezy run through if you like that kind of stuff, especially if you're into like sort of spy thrillers. It's actually not, but it kind of is because it's about sort of government stuff. And I'm down for those all the time. Rufus Sewell is worth the price of admission, which is free. If you have Netflix. So These Shadows by Wooden Ships, that's mine.
That episode also had another psychedelic rock band in it. It had Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd.
Yes.
It was a really great scene.
It was in that at the end, right?
Yeah, very end of that.
Yeah,
and it is used fantastically. That's not my sync of the week, but mine is. Let's but The Diplomat, great. Let's just say that for everybody. It's well worth watching. So I am really loving this final season of Barry.
Yes.
I am absolutely loving it. It is so good. There's a lot of great stuff in it. But mine is in season 4, episode 3. They have "Leaving Walbrook and On the Road" by Hans Zimmer from the Rain Man soundtrack. And the way that it's used is just, it's so fucking good. And it keeps coming back as a theme, and that show is wonderful, and it's really, really, really well put together. But to have like this Rain Man stuff, and they have parts of the movie being shown, it was just so well done. And this last season is incredibly fucked up and dark and a delight to behold, and I'm really glad that Bill Hader, he directed that episode, I believe.
I was going to say,
he's directed and written a bunch of them. And that is, so it looks like Liza Richardson. Do you know her? Music supervisor?
No.
For Barry? Liza Richardson and Mark Mondello.
Would love to get in her world, though, because they're doing good work.
They are doing the Lord's work over there at Hubbo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Max. I mean HBO. Fuck!
Oh, man. Max. HBO
they did
Max.
drop the HBO. Did you see that?
They did. It's gone.
It's now called Max.
I know, because the app didn't work on my TV, and then it says HBOMax is not available in your region. I'm like, what the fuck? I think you got to download Max, and I was like, okay, at least maybe they cleaned up the app. Spoiler alert, they have not. It's not very good. And they're like, and of course the day, like if you're going to launch a new app in your HBO and your HBO Max and your whatever, and you're going to make it Max, and you know that everyone has to download a new app on whatever they're doing, like come out with some guns blazing. Have something brand fucking new to hang your hat on. And you know what they had? Shazam. A movie like nobody gives a fuck about. Except for some people that like Shazam.
I'm sorry, Shazam, the Zach Levi DC movie?
I don't know. I don't care.
I fucking love that movie.
The new one?
Or if you're talking about Kazam, the movie with Shaq as a genie.
No, that's a great movie.
That is not a great movie. You're a terrible person. How dare you? By the way, I would like to point out, because I'm keeping track of my Sinks of the Week on and when I come up with something, I write it down. And Greg Higgin, this guy from the Diplomat, was on my list, but since we've already discussed it, I will take it off my list.
I actually had that in there in my notes, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to find some more. I want to sort of show people you don't have to be the biggest act in the world. Like there's another one that had Rod Stewart doing a sort of I forget. I think it's a Bob Dylan song.
No way.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember which song it was, but anyway, we'll get into that another time. But it was Rod Stewart. It was really good, and but because I hadn't really heard it before, it's like American Songbook kind of song.
Speaking of Rod Stewart, did you see all the photos from the Jeff Beck tribute concert at the Royal Albert Hall?
The only one that mattered was that guitar in the spotlight.
Oh, it was fucking cool. I really am hoping for some video of that, just to, I was going, well, who's that guy? I'm like, that's Doyle Bramhall, Jude 2, DB2 back there. The second, Clapton, Ronnie Wood, Rod Stewart, Gary Clark Jr. I'm forgetting half of the fucking names that were there. This looked like a wonderful experience. But how can any of them do a Jeff Beck tribute? Because every single guitar player I mentioned is so entrenched in their own style.
Yeah.
And so is Beck.
Yeah.
It just how do you do that concert? It's like everybody grow their thumbnail real big and thick and get your whammy bar out. We're all playing Strass tonight.
I know. No pics. There's got to be
no pics.
There's got to be signs everywhere. No pics.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, what's funny is I saw a video last night of a Bruce Springsteen concert. And it was somebody that I know who's Italian, and I think he was playing in Rome at Circus Maximo or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow is right, because she just turns her camera around, and there's Sting, Trudy Styler, Nick Cave, camera keeps going, Guy Oseary, Sacha Baron Cohen. These are all in the same section.
Fuck out of here.
Lars, his wife, Isla Fisher, look like Steffi Graf, Chris Rock.
Oh my God.
They were all in the same grouping of tables.
Oh my God.
dancing to
that sounds insane.
to Glory Days.
Oh, of all the songs, that one.
Yeah, but it's weird to see Sting go Glory Days. Oh, and Jimmy Page. And Jimmy Page is standing there stoically next to Sting, who's kind of dancing. Trudy's losing her mind, but Jimmy Page is just standing there like, yeah, not a fan of this song. But
I don't like this one.
I love what you're doing.
To runner, I'm leaving.
I love what you're doing, but not this one. All right, let's wrap this sucker up. Do we need to send anybody anywhere? I don't have my class is not up and running yet.
Well, by the time this is done, I will probably have done my last Spotify release class because apparently nobody wants to know about it.
That's right.
So,
You guys have missed out. You missed out on all the information.
So,
we might package that a different way for you.
Yeah. I do have the video version of it. You can download that and peruse at your leisure if you're interested in that.
StuMillerMusic.com.
And we are at 2ShotsMusicPod.com, and you can find that on all of the socials in that way. Also, send us an email with your questions to 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com, and we'll read it, and you're in the drawing to win some strands of Michael's hair.
Can I just tell you that Kelsey just yelled into my ear, said, no, you won't. You won't fucking read it. I give you all the emails and you never do it. MLC, blah, blah, blah.
You read the rundown and you did nothing.
Let's talk about weddings. Who gives a fuck?
Well,
make sure to rate and subscribe and give us 5 stars. It really helps us. And you guys, really, thank you so much for sharing it a little bit. We're picking up some steam. Got a few hundred on the old socials there. You can follow us at 2ShotsMusicPod everywhere you follow people, except for the street.
The talks, the gram.
Yep, the gram, the TikToks, the Twitter, if you're into that right now. Facebook, if your grandma likes podcasts, it's cool.
If you're gay, grandmas and racists.
Grandmas and racists. But yeah, leave a hilarious comment, but really help us with, we're going to try to push some more onto Spotify is happier with us. We have a lot more subscribers on there. But thank you all of you who are listening on Apple. We really do appreciate it. And by the way, I want to give 2 shout-outs. There are 2 people listening in Canada and 1 person listening in Iceland. And thank you so much for checking us out, and really appreciate that we're getting a little international coverage and appreciate it. Also, one thing else I want to mention, on Spotify, we have a... on Friday, you will see us kind of do this on our socials, so that's where you can find it.
Yes.
But we have a pretty cool music playlist that we do on Fridays called Fresh Music Finds, and that is like everyone that's kind of released a song within that week. We go through and we find some cool songs to highlight. We put it on that playlist on Spotify and shout out those bands. We usually do about 10. We don't go that deep onto it, but thank you to all those bands who have interacted with us, and we're wishing you luck on your releases on Global Release Day on Fridays.
Awesome. Global Release Day Fridays.
Yes.
Not Thursday.
And that's a whole other
Tuesday.
podcast, isn't it?
Yep, it's a whole other podcast.
All right, so we will talk to you next time. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.